Hey everybody, today we're checking out the Arouser plugin from Empirical Labs. It's their software version of the infamous Distressor hardware compressor. Now, the Distressor is one of my absolute favorites. I've had one in my rack since 2003. I use it on the show all the time. I use it in my mixes all the time. It's a favorite on vocals, bass guitar, snare, drum room, you name it. The only thing that's wrong with it is the fact that I only have one of them. So I was talking with the Empirical guys at Summer NAMM, and they're like, hey, you should really check out what the Arouser does these days. It's pretty freaking amazing. And apparently they put a lot of time into getting it right and making sure it sounds like the real thing. Now, this isn't the only software version of the Distressor out there. Universal Audio has their take on the Distressor, and Slate has the FG Stress. And I do want to shoot out all three of those at some point. However, I don't have any Universal hardware here, so I'm going to have to wait till I get back down to the LA studio for that to happen. But just to make things interesting for you guys, we are going to be giving away 3 of these plugins. At the end of the video, we're going to have some more information on that further on. Anyway, let's get into it here and take a look at the Arouser and just see what it can do. Now, I'm going to start out here on a very favorite source of mine for compression, and that is Drum Room. So let's take a listen to what we got here. Now, this is for an upcoming anime cover we've got going on with Eric Arco on bass and Trey Watson on vocals. It should be coming out in a week or two. We're almost done with this. This is still kind of a mix in progress. I'm just tweaking it out at this point. But anyway, let's get this room happening. So we're going to bypass it here. Let's start bringing this in. And this is one thing the Distressor is famous for. It's the nuke button for drum, and specifically for drum room mics. In this case, they're calling it the rivet. So it just lets you stomp on the source very, very hard. Speed up the attack a little. Now, if we slow down the release, still lets a lot of that transit through, but if we speed up the release, check this out. I love the little clip light here, by the way. Now, what's really neat is there's a saturation control. On the actual hardware version, there's a button that gives you a couple different modes. This lets you dial it right into exactly where you want it. Check this out. Now, if you have to crank this up, it really squashes it down. Maybe it's a little too much. Slow down the attack. That's pretty neat right there. Let's just do a little A/B. Wow. That really brings it to life, doesn't it? Holy crap. Now, if I want to let a little bit more of that transient through, there's the attack modification here, and this is actually kind of a knee control. So I can slow down the attack a little bit without actually going for the attack here. And what's really great is you can actually bypass the different parameters here in the Arouser, and that's something you can't do with the hardware version. I think that's pretty cool, so you can hear exactly what you're doing. I'm going to back that up. And then you can bring in your high pass detector so it's not going to trigger the compression on any of the low frequencies. You can just kind of roll things off, and that's pretty cool. So you can kind of leave your bottom end alone. This is something I use all the time on the hardware one. And you can even adjust how the detector treats your signal. You can zero in on one particular frequency. As you can see here, it's there's blue highlights here for the default. You know what? I've been working with the Distressor since 2003, and I haven't really felt the need to play it with the detector sidechain very much at all on the hardware version. It's just a switch. This lets you tweak it out a little bit more, but you know what? Where it's set is going to work pretty much all the time. You might have the occasional situation where you want to change it, but you know, it's nice to have, but I don't know how much I'd ever actually use this part. So let's drop this into the mix.
Deep down I feel just like a pet, they call my name. Now sit, roll over, up, now play dead, no thank you. I got what I need, when it's just you and me, that's when my mind is free.
I can bring this room up.
All the things that they do, I jump to the fire, when they're in the place that to go. Trying to make me see, not fight, not bleed. This is my best.
Wow. That really adds some life into this mix.
Double shot with a knockout punch, then he ranches on the floor.
Now, I'm also using this on the vocal, and like I said, the hardware one is probably my absolute favorite vocal compressor ever, because you just set it and forget it. You really don't have to mess with it. This is Trey Watson's vocal here. Like I said, this is the song. It's called Like a Fujin. It's from the anime Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, and it's a rap rock piece, and basically it's the nerdiest thing we could find to do. So it's kind of fun. Now, Trey is pretty dynamic in this verse here. I've just found it's he's got his loud parts, he's got his soft parts, and I find the Arouser plugin just really straightens everything out and kind of gets everything sitting in the mix really nice. Again, I'm just going with, you know, a lot of the default settings here, because that's the great thing about the hardware distressors. You can pretty much set everything at 5 and it's going to sound good. So let's take a listen to the vocal in the context of the mix without the Arouser.
It's a complete hell. Deep down I feel just like a pet, they call my name. Now sit, roll over, up, now play dead, no thank you. I got what I need, when it's just you and me, that's when my mind is free. Just thinking of you, it gets me through all the things that they do. I jump to the fire, when they're in the place that they go.
He's kind of all over the place. He's definitely got some pretty loud spots. So we're bringing this in. We're going to get, I don't know, 6 or 7 dBs of gain reduction. I'm going to bring the fader back down. Check this out.
Deep down I feel just like a pet, they call my name. Now sit, roll over.
Wow, we're actually hitting like 9-10 dBs of gain reduction here. You know, medium attack, somewhat faster release. And we did hit the output gain pretty hard. Again, just watch out for the clip there. 6-to-1 ratio, that's what I normally use on a vocal. A lot of people will do 4-to-1. I find on a real distressor, you can get away with a 6-to-1 ratio, and it's great. I'm actually using like a 6-to-1 ratio on the hardware distressor that I'm recording this voice with right now.
Deep down I feel just like a pet, they call my name. Now sit, roll over.
Now we can add in a little bit of saturation.
I got what I need, when it's just you and me, that's when my mind is free. Just thinking of you, it gets me through all the things that they do. I jump to the fire, when they're in the place that to go. Trying to make me see it, not fight, not bleed. This is my best, moving to the test, yo. I'm doing it to both barrels blazing. Boom, pow, double shot with a knockout punch. Then he ranches on the floor.
Wow, that's actually kind of sick. I kind of like that a lot. Wow.
Check it, it's a complete hell. Deep down I feel just like a pet, they call my name. Now sit, roll over, up, now play dead, no thank you. I got what I need, when it's just you and me, that's when my mind is free. Just thinking of you, it gets me through all the things that they do. I jump to the fire, when they're in the place that to go. Trying to make me see it, not fight, not bleed. This is my best, moving to the test, yo. I'm coming at you both.
Wow, and as soon as you back that saturation off, it just cleans right up on a vocal. Holy smokes. Yeah, I think we actually used a lot of vocal distortion on the last one we did with Trey. So I want this one to be a little bit different, so I'm going to back off the saturation a little bit and just kind of saturate those peaks a little bit.
Check it, it's a complete hell. Deep down I feel just like a pet.
Okay, we're going to take the output out here.
Roll over, up, now play dead, no thank you. I got what I need, when it's just you and me, that's when my mind is free. Just thinking of you, it gets me through all the things that they do. I jump to the fire, when they're in the place that to go. Trying to make me see it, not fight, not bleed. This is my best.
Wow, what a difference. It just, you know, you can flatten that straight out and bring it up, and it's great.
Deep down I feel just like a pet, they call my name. Now sit, roll over, up, now play dead, no thank you.
It's very choppy there, and if we drop the Arouser back in,
Check it, it's complete hell. Deep down I feel just like a pet, they call my name. Now sit, roll over, up, now play dead, no thank you. I got what I need when it's just you and me, that's when my mind is free. Just thinking of you, it gets me through all the things.
So here's the arouser on bass guitar, and again, this just kind of, brings it out. It's actually turning it down a little bit because we've got three faders going into one here. And you can see we got a lot of clipping there once we start combining them. And just add a little bit more saturation into this. And then we could just add in attack on the bass guitar with the attack modification.
Trying to make me see and not fight, not bleed. This is my best, do it to the test. Yo, I'm coming into both barrels blazing. Full pow, double shot with a knockout punch. Then your ass is on the floor. Fly away now, at the window. Here we go. Follow me, girl. Fly.
All right, cool. One more spot I'm actually using the arouser plugin is on snare drum, and this was a track Jackson Ward sent me for that Spider 5 demo I did recently, and the arouser is pretty freaking amazing, actually. Again, we can add a little bit of saturation onto the transient here. Slow attack, medium release. We're hitting it pretty hard, but listen to the difference here. I love how the arouser brings the snare to life, especially in the context of a mix. Check this out. So the one thing I really love about the arouser plugin is that it's a lot like the hardware distressor in that you can throw it at pretty much any source and it's gonna sound good. If you don't know where to start, set everything at 5 and just tweak the taste from there. But chances are you're gonna get some pretty good results. Just play around. I believe they've got a cloud as well where people share various presets. There's some pretty good ones thrown in as well. Snare crack, less hat. That seems to be the de facto heavy metal snare setting, and that's what we're all after. So start with that one on snare drums. That should work pretty well. The fact that you can modify stuff and bypass certain sections of this plugin, I think is just amazing. And the fact it's only $199 is simply awesome as well. Now, like I promised near the beginning of the video, there are going to be 3 of these up for grabs. And all you got to do is follow the link in the description below and sign up on the raffle capture. We're going to give these away to anyone in the world, any 3 people worldwide. Now, here's the really cool thing. If you win this and you do not have an iLok, Empirical Labs will mail you one. How freaking amazing is that? So follow the link in the description below and maybe you can get your hands on the arouser plugin for absolutely free. Before I go, I just want to give a great big shout out to everybody at Empirical Labs for being part of this video. I'm a huge fan of their hardware, and I gotta say I'm a big fan of the software as well. This is certainly an extremely impressive plugin. I'm absolutely loving using it on my mixes. So until next time, sign up for the giveaway, follow the links in the description below, all that good stuff. I'll see you next time. Take it easy.